The overabundance of choices with woke, uninteresting storylines makes it almost impossible to find anything worth watching on TV, especially in the area of TV series, dramas, and comedies. Gone are the days of Archie Bunker, the Jeffersons, and the Dukes of Hazzard. So imagine my surprise when, while surfing the multiple streaming services I subscribe to, I came across a Netflix series called Suits. Yeah, I know, it's been out for some time, but I'm not one to try new things. It's my conservative nature. The series is interesting for a number of different reasons: the interpersonal play between the different characters, the ethical versus moral situations that come about through the litigation in that firm, and the one I'm going to talk about today: the unnecessary requirement of higher education in most entry level open job markets. Yes, that includes jobs like attorneys, nurses, teachers, and business executives. In this episode of Office of the Patriot, we are going to uncover the Ponzi scheme grift between business and post secondary education. Hello, and welcome to the Office of the Patriot. In this office, I try to make sense out of the nonsense of the progressive left. If you are a subscriber, thank you for your continued viewership. It is appreciated. If you are a returning viewer, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future presentations. And if you are a first-time visitor to my channel, well, congratulations on finding it. It's usually hidden by the YouTube algorithm. However, I hope you find the content worth coming back for. My name is Myron Ybarra, and I'm your host. Post-secondary education is in the media spotlight right now because of controversial issues like one-sided indoctrination practices and federally funded, I meant to say taxpayer-funded student loan forgiveness. So I might as well toss another log onto the fire with the question, is college really worth it? This question has a number of different facets in that the answer coming from one group of people may be different than from another group of people. So I'm going to try to answer this question through the kaleidoscope of everyone's eyes. But for shits and giggles, I would like to get your take. What career field, if any, do you believe should require college education? Please take time to comment below. First up for critiquing are college administrators and professors. And of course, they're going to advocate for the necessity of college education. And to be fair, depending on the class and the intent of the instructor, many college classes do have a measurable benefit to employable work skills. How many of us would feel comfortable with a surgeon who received his or her medical license through an online trade school and a few years of residency? Speaking for myself, I would much prefer a surgeon with a lengthy and accomplished medical school resume, as well as the aforementioned resident training, but a lot longer. However, I'm of the mind that many career fields do not require graduate level post-secondary education, but in fact can get away with lower division or undergraduate education coupled with an intensive apprenticeship program. Since I used Suits as the opening into this monologue, it's only fair that I bring up the character Mike Ross. Mr. Ross is portrayed as a naturally gifted savant who has the ability to remember anything he reads and recall it at will. This enables him to read and understand texts that others may never be able to comprehend. Mr. Ross takes the LSATs and ultimately the New York bar exam, and through a series of events, both fortunate and unfortunate, lands a position in a prestigious law firm, even though he didn't graduate from any college of law. He simply read the Barbary Legal Handbook, remembered everything contained within the book, and then took the bar exam. This didn't just happen with Mr. Ross. There are a few other characters in the series Suits who are doing a job where they too didn't have the formal education to even merit an interview. There is a character who is an accountant for the law firm, who's been working for that firm for 9 years without actually having a CPA license. And while these characters are an over-exaggeration of competency, There are many people who really don't require post-secondary formal education who have a natural skill set to do almost any job once they've been properly trained. Which brings me to my second point. Post-secondary education rarely trains anyone for any job unless the program falls within the area of career training education, also known as CTE. CTE is public colleges' answer to private trade schools, and most CTE is offered in two-year junior or community colleges, and even CTE is limited on what they teach that has real-world applications. Speaking from my previous career field, law enforcement, most two-year and even four-year college graduates don't have the slightest idea on how to apply handcuffs, understand proper shooting techniques, how to defuse a volatile situation, or even in some cases, basic report writing skills. It isn't until they successfully navigate an academy and become peace officers, and then go through a rigorous apprenticeship program, do they fully understand the basic day-to-day duties of a peace officer. And there are a number of high school graduates and even some non-high school graduates with a GED that are exceptional peace officers. And finally, point number 3. Let's talk about the open market and public service positions that require post-secondary education prior to employment. There are many managers and administrators of these career fields that believe that a degree or even a degree from a certain college is a minimum prerequisite to employment. You're not even considered for a position unless you have a specific graduate degree or undergraduate degree. Again, if you watch the show Suits, Mr. Ross has assumed a position in the law firm as an attorney without having graduated from a college of law. Not only is that a violation of the firm's internal policy, but it's also a violation of the New York State Bar Association and New York State law to practice law without having graduated from a law school. Even though he successfully completed the New York State Bar exam and has demonstrated he is an accomplished litigator. I've heard managers and administrators argue the merits of college graduates using adjectives like college graduates are trustworthy and they're diligent and they're driven and they have a basic understanding of the tasks they are being hired for, all because of their college education. However, I believe that the necessity of college is of a very narrow scope. It shows that for a period of time, people who went to college and obtained a degree had the foresight to improve their education and the diligence to complete tasks on time, even though there is no immediate monetary gain. Aside from that, the value of college as a prerequisite to many careers is questionable. So, why go to college? That's probably the most important question, and one that each individual should ask themselves before making the commitment. College costs a lot of money and requires a significant investment of time. If you're planning on going to college for a specific degree because of a specific career field, then my suggestion is to take classes to include electives that are directly related to your career field. So skip on the underwater basket weaving just to get the 3 units you need to graduate. If you're only looking at college as a way to expand your education and maybe to gain some new experiences, my suggestion is to take that money and maybe travel, making sure to stop in areas that are germane to your goals, or maybe consider a trade school or an apprenticeship program, or even fast-track CTE program at your local community college. Any one of these choices are likely going to be more fulfilling and provide you a solid foundation to grow as a person and as a future employee or entrepreneur. This concludes today's presentation of Office of the Patriot. If you enjoy the content, please take the time to like, subscribe, and share my channel on your social media. It is appreciated. And as always, have a blessed day and stay safe out there.